Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Real quick at the beginning of this video, let's just give you guys those daily expected moves. 576.84 to the upside and 569.50 to the downside. Just get those on your chart. Want to put it at the beginning of this video so people can click back to it. The Qs as well, you have a point of 493.52 to the upside. You do have 485.08 to the downside. We do get FOMC minutes as of later on today. So the look before that moment is going to really matter, and I think that's something we need to pay attention to. Also, we need to see if this hurricane is really going to affect markets going forward, because we are seeing cash go to the upside, cross up on a 2-hour, and maybe heading up towards one of our zones. Good morning, Nazim. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And thank you guys for joining today. Let's get this pretty little camera up so you guys can see me. So you know this is a real human being behind here, not AI, anything like that. Don't worry, this is a real human being talking to you guys. One thing to pay attention to, volatility on the 30-minute. Volatility on the 30-minute saying, hey, I might want to cross up this morning. So let's pay attention to that, seeing a little bit of a blip there. So if this does cross up, just note that the hourly can turn up, the 2-hour can turn up. We want to treat it when there is a crash signal behind volatility like it could be bad. Now we notice the reversal signal. It just means that if we do cross up though, maybe our timing's off and we're actually going to see this go a little bit higher or go up to these levels, and then we'll see if that is able to confirm a divergence again. This would be if I was playing volatility, which I am. If that 30-minute does turn up, I will be managing the trade, and if it turns right back down, maybe my timing will be a little bit better over in these areas. So that's what I'm mainly paying attention to this morning. We do have the opportunity for the SPY to head higher. I would really like consolidation. We didn't necessarily get the best consolidation in the futures. So the futures were not able to turn down, but you see we're trying to cross up through this point as of this morning. So we can get bullish right away, and that's something I'm a little bit worried about, okay? If this 4-hour is able to turn up, I'm still gonna pay attention to it, but that just tells me as the dollar is rising, if we do see this extend higher throughout the week, I'm gonna be a little bit worried about some kind of drop as the dollar continues to scale up. So that's all things that we can pay attention to going forward. We'll see what happens from here on out. One thing to keep your eye on, I think, first off this morning is going to be volatility. Can that turn up into positive territory? That's going to be a big deal. All right, we'll see how things open up this morning in about 8 minutes. We do get FOMC later on today, where they will be discussing what they are going to at least projected to do. They can obviously change that. For now, I think you have a very high probability of a 25 basis point cut. If they cut by 50 basis points, I don't think they want to do that because of how oil has been behaving. I know oil has come off, right? Oil has come off, but this 2-hour turns up and you're right back to another big move for oil. Oil with this bottom in here heading to the upside because of some geopolitical news. So that is something to pay attention to. We'll see if that happens. For now, oil can also catch a bid because of the hurricane. Oil can catch a bid because of geopolitical stuff going on over with Iran and Israel. So there's a lot to pay attention to as of today. One thing I was keeping my eye on was Bitcoin, seeing if this can turn up on a 2-hour. If you remember when we talked about Bitcoin up in these areas, we just mentioned, hey, this could be an area where you want to consolidate. We tried to make a small handle, failed it. So now we're digging down a little bit deeper. We're actually getting out of our zone. Not the best sign, but if that 2-hour can curl up and you could break above these levels about 64,000, that actually would be a pretty bullish sign for Bitcoin. One thing I'm a little bit worried about though is some kind of drop by the end of the day with FOMC, because Nvidia is still scaling higher and higher and higher. That can continue to happen. More so what we're talking about with Nvidia is a trade setup, right? We don't want to FOMO into something that could really see a drop at any time. Hey, you're missing out. That's perfectly fine. You just don't want to have fear of missing out, right? We don't want to have fear of missing out. We want to get that out of our system and just say, hey, if I didn't catch the signals down here, then why am I going to be bummed out and try to buy something up here? Now, we want to make sure that we're catching things at a good time. Amazon still showing that cross up. So this was really the one. If you missed out on Nvidia, just pay attention to Amazon because that thing is showing some positivity. It's crossed up on the 2-hour. There is a 2-hour divergence, so we can maybe head up towards this zone. This would be a fantastic way to head higher for something like Amazon. Looking forward, I think we have Meta also trying to make that upward move. We talked about this. There is a 2-hour divergence, but I kind of was leaning towards a 30-minute signal behind it. So this could all unravel soon if the 30-minute can cross up. And we do see that cross down. Just be careful because that would be more weakness and momentum, and you do have a 2-hour divergence behind it. Those are kind of some of the things that I'm paying attention to. We can look at AMD heading to higher levels, able to probably cross up on this MACD, see if it makes another divergence point. I don't believe that's close to the weekly expected move yet. Let me make sure to get those up on the charts before the open today. We got 5 minutes. I'm good to go. AMD, yeah, AMD still has room to the upside. The only problem with AMD is you have 2-hour divergence, you have 4-hour divergence, and you're kind of setting up a 30-minute divergence. You had rejections up in here. Even if you make that move higher, which we are, just watch out for some kind of drop. So that's what I'd be paying attention to as of this morning. And then the main thing is, are we actually going to be able to confirm a bigger time frame? I think a bigger time frame confirmation is what you're looking for from something like the SPY. And then we have to be aware if that's up towards 476, like if we just cross up, we hit those levels, and then, you know, tomorrow CPI comes out and that can falter the market. We just want to pay attention to times of weakening and momentum. And then if bad news comes out with it, we see those things curl down, we can react to that news. So I think that's what we're overall paying attention to. But most of the signals will lean towards bullishness. I just want to be clear, most of the signals, because we got rid of a lot of those macro signals yesterday, most of these signals are saying bullishness can continue to come in. Okay, let me just leave this on a 30-minute. I would really like a 30-minute pullback from the SPY. I think that would be a fantastic thing. Let me do this too. That's too big of a time frame. There we go. Let's try and get a little bounce from volatility. Volatility actually had a little 15-minute divergence right here that ended up playing out, right? Ended up playing out around 2 a.m., right? This opens at 2:10 a.m. for me. And yeah, that ended up playing out, faded really quickly. Now we're seeing if we can curl up one more time. So that's where I'd really be paying attention, because that would be a slightly higher low there for volatility. SPY's maybe even going to open up right at the level it needs to break through. So we can still get rid of those. It doesn't have to turn up for volatility. It just looks like a thing to pay attention to if it does happen. We get up towards a daily expected move this morning, I'm going to be a little bit worried for the FOMC minutes. If we do break to the upside all of a sudden, right, we get up to this level, look for that to pull down, get a retest. A retest would be perfectly fine. Then we can see if that bullishness can continue to stay in the market. You know me, hiccups in the morning, every morning, I swear. Q is relatively flat compared to the SPY, by the way. And Qs, I think, even more so than the SPY, are really begging for that little bit of pullback, right? I think this would be a solid look for the Qs. Yeah, because you just a little handle can go a long, long way. That's what I need to watch. How are we doing this week? Colorado just call it the world we live in, but economics is really bad this close to an election, often revised heavily afterwards. Yes, and I think this is the first time. Well, I haven't, I guess, presidential elections haven't happened too often, right? I've only been through what, 3, maybe 4 while actually trading, but the first 2 I was more on the fundamental side. Now I'm on the technical side, so I really only have seen technical analysis on 2 of them. I have not seen crash signals this big around an election ever, so that's just interesting. I don't want to think too hard into it. I just want to be like, the signal's there. There just happens to be an election, so I just have to be on my toes. Yeah, you need the signal for Nvidia. That's a good statement to make. You need the signal for Nvidia. You actually had it yesterday, but I want you to be aware that a 30-minute signal outside of the range is a opportunity. I think that's what you are looking for, and volatility is still above 20, right? So yeah, volatility is still at 21. So this is not a good look for the rest of the week. I'm just going to be honest with that. Not the best look for the rest of the week. Damn, options are going fucking nutty right now. All right, trying to turn down. See if we can get that. Looks like a turn down is a, like I said, consolidation is pretty likely this morning. But we will see. We will see. So volatility pops up here. That's going to be something to pay attention to. If the SPY is able to curl down here, that's going to be something to pay attention to, right? So we're kind of paying attention to a little bit of both sides at that point. And one to watch, AMD trying to make that move higher. If it doesn't cross, watch for that rejection divergence. China trade's interesting. I was trying to research that a little bit this morning, and I more so wanted to see if there was going to be some kind of, someone was talking about stimulus there. But for the most part, I was looking at things like BABA and things like that. I was just looking at these. All I know is there's a big amount of orders for things like these, right? Chinese stocks or even Alibaba, right? We just see big orders in this area. People are liking pretty much this area for these stocks. So, and it makes sense for them to like it, right? This is really where you have to break down, right? If we were looking at the cup and handle, look how level that is. So you would say, okay, get down to that area. Now you watch out for that lower high. But if this is going to remain bullish, then the 2 hours just crosses up. Maybe we see that able to cross the center line. Maybe we're able to go back positive. Okay, so it doesn't have to be over for BABA. Look at this. I mean, just look how it's still in positive territory. So if that cross, right, if this is a strong move, then that can really get higher. But if that's going to be a weak move and not curl up this 2 hour, then you might see a little 30-minute that just goes like this and then starts to drop, because that's pretty negative at this point. So that's what I'd be looking for. Just BABA's the one that I would pay attention to because it's pretty popular. Volatility trying its best to turn up. Yeah. And then we'll see how that PCC opens up in just a little bit. Yield's about to react to another level. The funny thing with yields are, weirdly enough, you're actually seeing a time where, hey, this could cross up, meaning we could see further weakness for TLT and strength for the 10-year. But watch out with the FOMC minutes. All that they're going to probably set. Here's the thing: they're most likely going to continue what they're doing. They've already made the mistake. They can't really go back. If they go back, right? If they say, oh, now we have to raise rates all of a sudden, it's probably not the best sign. I think people would react very poorly to that. You give them the cookie of rate cuts and then you take it away. Ugh, you know what happens when you give a cookie to a kid and then you just take it away after they take one bite? They're probably going to yell at you. So I'd assume the market would yell at you. I did hear someone reporting that a short seller got caught up the other day. Thought that was interesting. I didn't look into it too much. I just saw someone reporting on it. Another key thing, XLU is continuing to drop, trying to make a divergence point at this time. So we'll see if that can see a bounce. But this is the crash signal that is still holding. The other signals are volatility and the dollar scaling up dramatically. Good morning, Junior. How you doing this morning? Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. You guys are fantastic about that stuff. Really appreciate it. Let's try to get to us 100 likes today. That'd be nice. Man, You know, a month ago, I thought election season couldn't get crazier. And then 3 months ago, FEMA said they were 100% prepared for any hurricanes. Shouldn't laugh about that. That's not cool. I really shouldn't. I did check in. I do have very good family friends of myself. I mean, my best friend, his family is from Florida. I checked in on them. All of them are doing well. I hope anyone you guys know in Florida is prepared or preparing themselves or did so in advance, because apparently we knew about this hurricane a week in advance, so I don't see why we lagged so much on pretty much everything. Hood, let's go look at Hood. Actually, I haven't looked at this in a while. I'm always interested. Wow, big spike up, big spike down. Very interesting there from Hood. If my stuff would pop up. This is why I usually don't have the camera on, is because it kind of makes things funky. So from this area, you notice like this flatness here. So that tells me there's going to be a 15-minute divergence. If I had, right, is this week? Yeah, if I had a weekly move, you pretty much know like a 7% move is probably taking you out of that. There wasn't really earnings or anything like that. And if I go into a 15-minute, you're going to see this, right? We see the rejection, It's going to be down here a little bit on the RSI. But what does all this mean? Well, unless it's seeing some kind of crazy downside, right? Crazy downside, like absolutely horrible. Well, anytime that this 30-minute curls up, you're still in a positive trend, right? You're way up here, right? You have a lot of space here. So this can be a good fall, right? Maybe to go retest something like 24, 23.92, somewhere in there, and then you curl right back up. So I'd be paying attention to any kind of little things in here that curls back up on this MACD for now. For now, if bigger time frames start to roll, that's when you really want to pay attention for more downside. For now, I think the market's the most important thing to pay attention to. I think we do still have that opportunity to pull back. Oh God, what's the likelihood we go down? Well, I kind of want the market to go down before the news. I really do. And then I want that news to be good, because this is fantastic structure. And I'm sorry I talked about Hood for a second, but that was interesting, wasn't it? So it would be good structure, right? We reacted to this level. You could argue for some structure there. We reacted into these key levels here. So you're saying, okay, is this going to cup in hand? And I think when you look at the futures, you really see more of the head and shoulders argument, right? This big dip down did matter. We came down to this level. Did we violate the lows? No, we didn't. So this could still be that right side. Now we've created that small handle overnight. You see that. Can we break through? Well, this is where I think you didn't curl down enough. I think you really needed to continue down, go down to that move, really get people bearish, get down to that center line and curl up. So I think we have the opportunity to do that today. In the morning. As far as Apple goes, Apple 2 hours crossed up, so that can see positivity if it wanted to, if it needed to, and I don't think you really want that to happen. I don't think you want the 30-minute to curl down if you're bullish on this. Actually, it's doing what it needs to do to go bullish, so that's a good thing. It needs to break and hold above that 225.84. That's my overall opinion, right? We can get a simple, 4-hour swing. 4-hour swing, we go up to this level. Watch out if that starts to rotate back down. We'll look for weakness in this move anywhere. SPY is stalling because it's right at that resistance point, right? It's right at that resistance point. That's why I'm saying if you want to break up and not have problems right away. So here's the thing. If we do this, boom, right before that FOMC, if that FOMC is bad in any way, that can really suffer, because you have the dollar super elevated levels for the dollar now. Look at dollar's up 0.29, right? So the dollar's up right now. And it's already been elevated for a long time. So a lot of people in cash. So once people actually start hitting that sell button on the other side, people stop buying on the retail side. That's going to really hurt, or start selling on the retail side. So I don't want to see that. That's why I'm saying a pullback would be great for the market. It would mean this is healthy. You still got to pay attention if that news is good, because if you do something crazy, but if that 30-minute can curl down, people try to guess before that FOMC, right? We try to guess before the FOMC, and then that just curls right back up. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Then we can break that level. If we hold up better than that, that's fantastic too. I'm not saying we have to go down to this move, but we do gravitate towards them a lot of the time. Let's go see what people are chatting about. Also, just note that the hurricane is supposed to hit, I believe, tonight in Florida. Cheese and rice. Okay, one thing to pay attention to, though, is maybe we do get excited today. Volatility is not crossing up as of right now. We can see what happens with that. I think in about 5 minutes, we can look at how people are positioned. And even if we break out, we still can do some good things to head higher. There's always a way to head higher. So even if you break out, you're just hoping, hey, I'm hoping this isn't bad news and then sends us down back below this area. But if we go like this and then we retest that area, we end up turning back up, that would be another way to remain healthy. There's kind of two ways to remain healthy. You do it before, and then you see a strong move, and you can go like that. Or you do this move now, you curl down and curl back up. That would be healthy. If we're going to get some sporadic move higher, I would just be a little bit cautious to some kind of downward move. And that's just because we do get more and more data. We will get CPI. But if both things end up being good, PPI ends up being good, looks like everything's supposed to come down, consumer sentiment's supposed to go up a little bit, it looks like the data is projected to be good, and volatility is starting to turn down. So that's what I would be paying attention to for now, is the fact that the data is supposed to come in good, volatility has the 2-hour divergence. As long as we remain healthy on this move up, I'm pretty happy with it at this point, because volatility is kind of giving you a, hey, we're about to short squeeze a little bit signal. And then you go look at the max pain. You go look at max pain for Friday, 3.74 put call ratio. We do have big puts, okay? So we have to see if things roll over, then these people might be right. So you got to be careful. But if they're wrong and we continue in the upward direction, these people might have to sell all those positions. That's going to be quite the squeeze if that happens. They have been. You more so just had, I think the event with Nvidia got people excited, and Nvidia really wants to pull back here. I'm just going to be honest. This is outside of a weekly move. You do have a reversal signal, but it's still way up in positive territory. So I still think you could see more craziness this week outside of the range. But this would be a good thing to be like, okay, I'll take a position here, play it down, see if it can get back in that range. Once it does, okay, we're good to go. Because you're pretty much right here with that range, somewhere in that area, kind of by this little 20 on the 30-minute. So if you do something like this, fill this gap, and then turn back up, you can still see something crazy going on into the end of the week. God bless, it's pulling back. Yeah, and the weakness in momentum, the options market can take profit here, and that's all this could be, right? There's no news behind this. This could just be some kind of profit taking, and then once people like the value again, momentum can turn back up. I don't have the exact level for Nvidia. If you want that, it's over on Patreon for the weekly expected move. It's somewhere in this area. You're above it. You have reversal signals. That's what we look for on this channel. Now I think you have the opportunity to maybe even come fill this gap down towards 127.81. That would be a good pullback. That would pull you down to the center line a little bit, and then you could curl up. And then from there, you want to be careful if this sets up going into like Friday or something like that, because that could be another signal, if that rolls over, to be bad. If it's not rolling over, then you're just seeing some extension, and you might be squeezing, and we might be going super all-time high here. This is a breakout. You would like a retest of that breakout, but we'll see. I think Stumble Pro does have a point. We just have to figure out, because the dollar is rising so fast, you can see a rug pull, but we have to figure out, is that a daily trap? Is that a trap right now? So pretty much right now, are you seeing a 4-hour trap? Or is this going to extend for a few more days and become a daily trap, right? That's kind of what we need to figure out. And something that can help us figure that out, I actually believe, is volatility. I think if volatility just turns up on a 2-hour, it's still positive, very greatly positive. So if we react back down to 20 and you see us start to do that, and you see this turn up right here, I'd be a little bit careful, especially if we see like a 4-hour, 2-hour divergence on the SPY. Right now we're struggling. God, I would like us to pull back. That would be so nice as a trader. If we just move sideways, that's fine too. Yeah, it's still relatively bullish overall, so just be a little careful, but we haven't even really pulled back on this 30-minute yet, so we'll see. Fizer. Daily. Kind of like this. I kind of like this. Curling up on the daily with a 30-minute pullback, right? Yeah, this is a good sign. I think if that 30-minute curls up, you can see extended positivity throughout the rest of the day, and you're kind of cup and handling in an okay area. You gapped above the first area where you would have needed to handle, and then you gapped above it. You went up to these levels, which I think is fine. And then what did you do? You retested the level you gapped out of, right? We retested that level. I really like that. That 30-minute curls up. You're already seeing the swing trade signal. Now you have daily momentum behind you. I think this could extend. You want to see if that's crossing through some trend, maybe. See if it can get through there. And then I would just say something kind of move, maybe like this. This is just a bad measurement, but yeah, 33 would be possible. That is one breakdown area. 32, 33. Maybe even a reaction all the way up to 35 would make sense there. But yeah, I like the look, actually. And if that 30-minute can remain positive, doesn't create divergence by end of the day, this daily remains turned up, swing trade, baby. That's just all this is, swing trade. And if you break through resistance, it might be a good one. What up, Doug? Yeah, we haven't looked at Tesla. Let's go look at Tesla real quick. Tesla was one, paying attention if the 30-minute rolls down early on in the day. It did, and it's kind of, it's not giving you the divergence point, but we talked about it trying to go down and test these lows, go into this zone, maybe make a divergence point or make one here. So that looks like it's happening as of right now. We got the little wick down, now you're wicking up. So if this is going to remain positive, what are you going to see? You're going to see the 2-hour curl up. Now you got to be aware that this can make a lower high, but this can say, hey, we might have a couple of days of positivity left for Tesla. And then if that ends up being a great move, you want to see if it has that consolidation to really get that structure to head higher. Big shout out to Robert, guys. I want to give credit where credit's due. Robert, I noticed someone yesterday just literally bought the first course in the morning, took all of it, bought the second course in the afternoon, and so I sent him an email asking make sure everything's going well for him. But I just want to shout out people who are really dedicating themselves to learning, especially if you're new to the market or you've been in the market for a little bit and you're looking for something different. I think that's fantastic to see, and I think we should really celebrate that kind of attitude. Tesla going SpaceX mode. Oh yeah, I also took one of my targets home from shooting yesterday, if you guys want to see that. I did 15-yard hostage practice. Wore myself to fatigue in my hand really fast, and then I started to act like I was in a hostage situation. It was fun. You bet, Nazim. I like the look. Always be managing the trade. Since it is a daily trade, if you wanted to manage it early on a 2-hour, I think that would make sense. Oh, Robert, you're here. You're here. Yeah, I wanted to shout you out. I sent you an email. Just when I notice someone doing something like that, I do like to send you a little message and be like, wow, that's fantastic. Because I noticed you literally took the first one and then immediately went and got the second one. So I just wanted to really say thank you, and also say, you know, I really think that's awesome to see people doing that kind of behavior, really dedicating themselves to learning. So I think we should shout that out. Okay, what is going on? The SPY trying to break out. Volatility. Let's look at this on the daily. Is this even, this is not, oh, it's a couple days away from crossing. So the most likely thing here, I'm just saying, with the 2-hour signal, if that holds, if nothing changes from right now, right? No 30-minute turn up, no 2-hour turn up. This signal right here says we might have a little mini squeeze. And then I was just pointing this out to say a lot of people leveraged for downside. Until every now and then I have noticed that it would say none. Specific times, they seem to always have high amounts of shares available. Short for AMC, GME, SPY, and IWM. Let me look into it for a sec. That's kind of what I thought it was. That's lame, but as far as your question goes, what I've noticed is that it would say not. Are you pretty much asking for what that means? Because that's kind of what I thought. Yeah, it does look like a trap. It looks a little bit like, hey, this could go up for a little bit, but then not the best sign, right? Where we got to see 4 hours curling up. Maybe if the daily curls back up, we can see a little daily divergence. That'd be nice. But as far as it goes for anything that says that, my first inclination when I saw that question, Doug, was if you see anything that says NAN percentage or NAN across the board, it means they don't have the data available. So what they might be doing, something fishy, is making the data not available, fudging with the numbers, and then immediately turning it back on once they get rid of those positions. My inclination was AMC yesterday actually saw a major amount of spoofing. So that's where they can make an order for fractions of like a penny, pretty much. They could literally make it for like 1 penny, even though the stock's at 4 something. And then they can immediately cancel that order, causing the options data to suppress the stock. So what can happen with that is most likely they are withholding that info. Most likely they are withholding that info for a brief moment to allow that activity to happen. And then you're seeing it go back into it. So your SPY price is different. That's really strange. Let's go into a shorter time frame to see. 573.33 right now. It might be a timing thing too. I just wanted to clarify that if you see that NAN percentage, it means it's not available. That's all I did real quick, and then that was my assessment there. Net bearish portfolio, and I think that's reasonable. I just want to see reversal signals. Here's the thing I would say. Jerome Powell does not want to be the reason that the market is going down. The reason, and the economy could really suffer with something like the hurricane and things like that. So most likely they continue to cut and people will see that as good news. Oh, I'm not telling you to buy or sell. We're just talking about what something means when it says NAN pretty much. And that's just what I'm thinking. I'm not saying it's bullish or bearish. If anything, you might say it's actually because they're fighting the stock. They're using probably illegal activity to fight the stock. So it's most likely the stock goes down, right? But yeah, I do not think they would have that happen. Most likely what you'll see is something over the weekend, right? Usually we see it's something over the weekend, or it's something that has nothing to do with inflation in general. It's more just a geopolitical thing. It's more something that causes unemployment. AMD, we can go look at AMD. We need to pay attention to that one as well. Some interesting looks here. Remember, this is something to pay attention to. That 2-hour crosses, that means negativity. So what we need to pay attention to overall is the overall look of these stocks right now. Does this 2-hour cross over? Because that's going to tell us a lot. That's going to tell us if the daily is at least going to get a bigger pullback, maybe to go down to that 200 at least for now. But if this doesn't cross today, then we can head up. So if this is not going to cross, then maybe this 30-minute turns back up. And look at the 30-minute. It's really close to the center line. It's still positive. So what I'd be watching here is for the next hour, see if that 30-minute sees more weakness. Then you go over to a 2-hour, see if that's confirming. confirming crossed over because it's not crossing over right now. But as of right now, you're reacting down to 169.58. You still have room to a weekly expected move. This is getting closer to the center line. If you keep fumbling around like this and then you just break out for a moment, then this could be the real trap, right? Our timing could be off. Just something I would look into there. That's at least how I see it. They need a firepower. I won't advocate for much stuff like that. I would just say they might need to. I would just say the system's broken. And pretty much when the Fed was implemented, we started to see more problems, not less, in my opinion. Or you might have seen less problems for, say, 10 to 20 years, but every 10 to 20 years you go through an actual crash that really hurts people. And then the crash has caused rich people to get richer. That's the big problem. All right, let me pay attention to some stuff over here real quick, guys. I just have to keep my eye on some things. I know we want to look at a bunch of stocks. I get it. But we need to figure out if this market's really going to head higher. And right now you do have volatility subsiding, not able to turn up on the 30-minute. The deeper that goes, the better it looks. As of right now, for volatility, you're actually confirming on a 4-hour chart as well. The divergence is showing there. So if we go look at volatility, remember, we're waiting for the SPY. The SPY, we're looking like, hey, can the 4-hour turn up? Right? We're like, can that 4-hour turn up? Well, if you look at the opposite side, you'd say volatility has the 4-hour that just crossed a little bit ago. You're seeing that there is divergence across the way here, but it's not on the MACD at the same time. So we have to be open to this pulling back and then turning back up. I think gap fill would be a good thing to pay attention to there. Let's look at the Dow. The Dow can tell us a lot as well. Dow crossing up on the 30-minute, not really looking back at this moment. So Dow's screaming higher. That's really good. It's a little late to the party, I think. Palantir is interesting. Look at that look. That looks like weakness. I think Palantir will do something funky here. I think you'll see it go like this. Do one more time. But that's just, I think. It has to be proven in the charts. But this does say weakness can come on the... Sorry, I just clicked on something over here. This means that weakness can come on the 2-hour chart. So a 2-hour pullback can happen from here. You do have 2-hour divergence, but just look for a lot of the time when you do have this and it's not going to go make that next high, you will see it drop and then you'll get that lower high, which would make sense, actually. That looks like a decent look there. Let me get out of this. I don't know what was going on there. Oof, yeah, volatility really wanted to drop. Is the SPY seeing that positivity, guys? Not really, but the volatility is dropping. Wonder if we're going to break out here. Let's look at a 30-minute just to keep it nice and tight in here. Ooh, PCC still in the middle. That's the crazy thing. Still in the middle, right? We've kind of remained in the middle, went towards the call side for a brief moment, and now we've remained in the kind of middle for ever since. For just a day and a half now. Do you want to see if Bitcoin sees positivity? How's Amazon doing with those signals? Is Amazon doing all right? Ooh, Amazon actually not doing all right. Trying to confirm that little mini cup and handle. You can really see this probably on a 5-minute, but maybe 15. Yeah, 15, really trying to confirm that. So struggling at that breakout area. Just watch if 30 minutes roll down. That's not a good sign for Amazon, but right now that's not happening. Still a good look. Still good structure here. Good structure on the bigger time frame. Good structure on the 2-hour. Good stuff. So as long as that doesn't curl over, looks all right. AMC looks like garbage right now. And this is what will cause a lot of people to give up. I wonder if something's going to happen with this soon. Like, that's what I keep thinking. Whenever this thing sees like absolutely like, oh, this thing is trash. Remember when people were saying it was trash right here? And then it went up to almost $6 again. It's kind of what I'm like. I'm interested. We'll see. I'm just gonna wait for a daily to turn up and then I'll make my decision. Volatility now down towards 2108. 2108. Now the volatility has spiked up a little bit, so this thing could bounce around a little bit. Volatility could bounce around a little bit, just so you're aware that's spiked up. But as of right now, just tearing down. We'll see. Let's go check on the Qs. Those are looking a little red here. Okay, so you cup and handled like there. I think this bigger signal is what we want to kind of keep our eye on. It's just kind of boring to look at. 4-hour signals are boring to wait for. Can you load like when I click on the damn thing? So annoying. Oh, what I need to do is I need to do this. That's fine, I'll just leave stuff for now. All right, so you see the 4-hour trying to curl up, but is that a positive bar? No, it's a bad one. So you want to make sure that that's a breakout kind of bar, a really push up kind of bar. Ooh, people going to the call side a little bit here for the put call ratio, 0.76. Dollar is up, SPY is up. That's not a good sign for right now. That's more of a signal like, hey, we do need to pull back. But the other side of that is people already have positions, a lot of negative positions, right? Puts for Friday. Hey, I'm praying for you there, Short Fridays. Meta. There you go. Meta really rejecting down as well. This is kind of worrisome for Meta. Now just remember, your daily pullback still a little bit likely there. 2 hours still in an area where it could pull back. We didn't go make that next 30-minute divergence. We actually made the lower high. Interesting. But you confirm divergence here. Maybe this is just an ABC move for now, and then you can catch a bounce. So what we'd look for is just the 30 minutes to be able to gain some steam at any time here. But not a good look. Not a good look for AMD right now. Morning, Maria. How you doing? The good times to short a stock are when you have 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. So if you see 3 to 5 reasons, you know how to manage your risk. That's it. I'd say it's not the best time to go like long. Like you can see upside for a little bit, but it's like this would not be something I would invest in right now, in my opinion. But that's just myself. People have their reasons for taking a trade. I have mine. Mine are in the course, and if you see them, you can see some decent plays. Volatility is above 20, so you can see a drop here. But look how strong that move is, and 30-minute pullback is just there. A lot of the time, I don't like to fight against Nvidia. You don't hear me. I mean, we've talked about Nvidia a lot over the last like year or so. I think I've shorted it like twice. What am I usually doing with Nvidia? I'm usually taking it when I see a bullish signal, right? I know they want this stock to go up. Rich people want the stock to go up. Politicians that are insider trading want this stock to go up. So I'm taking the bullish signal every time. This one right here, right? So is it a good idea? Yeah, see, what if you're just cup and handling here? I don't know how you manage risk. I don't know how anyone does that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that you know what you're doing. And the best thing I can tell you is 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. So this thing could just keep ripping. I mean, look at the daily scale. Daily scale's just screaming higher. We're getting overbought, I think, right? But we're not even overbought yet. So if it really wanted to, keep going. This is a breakout. I don't see like great reversal signals from Nvidia yet. I see them in other stocks. I think people are too obsessed with trading Nvidia. Google wanting to tear down. Is that crossing on a daily? Ooh, that's a bad look. It's a bad look for Google. Oh, there's, we'll see. Dollar still scaling up here. Volatility still going down. Just the SPY not getting that breakout. It really wants to, it just isn't. God, it wants to so bad. Hughes, are you looking better? Not really. Yeah, that's fine. Breakout and daily expected move. Then you get the pullback. Maybe it's a trap in some way. See if volatility turns down on the daily. That could buy you another couple of days. Why does Google look so bad though? Why does Google look like garbage today? Meta, AMD, all those ones trying to pull down. I see if this measured move can play out. There you go. Something like 570 would make sense for Meta. Then Google is the interesting one. If Google's going to bounce, it's got to do it from here. If Google is going to bounce, it's got to do it from here. Literally in this little gap support in here, it needs to bounce. And even that would still, you know, want to create some structure for downside. You could even say, you know, it's just a bad look for Google, man. It's a good thing the 2 hour showed you divergence, right? You were paying attention, right? Managed the trade a couple times there. A little complicated trade here, actually. There's your 5-point move, though. That's an easy double. Easy double. As long as you manage the trade, get back in. All right, SPY try and do something here. There we go. There you go. There's a little bit better. Make that new high for the day. Let's get it going. Let's get it on and poppin'. All right, so now we have the SPY breaking through. We'll see if that can hold. That's going to be a key thing. We'll be chilling. Seeing if that sucker will break out. Dollar just rising though, and we are to the call side. A rug pull would make sense for now. Just be ready to react. These signals are still good. We just want to see if they're actually going to rug pull. You're going to see those signals cross, and that's where it can ramp up. But what you really just want to see here is this 30-minute here. If that turns down, we could head down towards the daily expected move, which is more so what I'm leaning towards. What we got here? I just don't believe in that crossing up right now. Anyone else? Let me see your guys' opinion. What do you guys think? I do not like the fact that the dollar is up, the PCC is a little lower. The only thing is volatility is not turning back around, but we're at a point where it's going to struggle. I just want to know what people think. Well, but I think rug pull in the form of a pullback would make sense. Like it just goes bam, gets people really bearish, and then we get FOMC. But I'm not saying that has to happen. I'm just saying I'm really thinking this thing should gear up more before that news. Is the dollar going to top out here? We have not seen any selling come in with this dollar going up like this, really. Oh, someone's calling me. Give me one moment. Let me make sure it's not someone important. It's not someone important. Don't worry, guys. It's not someone important. While you're looking at duck. Hopefully that's not upset. Yeah, and I think this isn't enough for me to do it. And since we've seen the difference between the dollar and the market for a long time, I think you're more setting up a bigger scale trap, at least on a 4-hour. That's my thinking. But I'm more talking about a rug pull to scare people for now. A rug pull meaning not a rug pull crash, a daily rug pull, if you will. Something that just goes, oh no, and then it just turns right back up as people go to the put side. But I already looked, and look at this. This is a lot of puts already there. So if we just keep leaking higher, nothing matters. So I guess the thing to pay attention to, if something bad is going to happen, what are you going to see? You're going to see a little red bar right here. You're going to see a red bar right here on this 30-minute MACD. If that red bar pops up, with the dollar elevated, you do have that good shot to go down to the daily expected move. So I don't have to react. I'm just talking in a way that's like, I want to think about it. I want to keep thinking about it. I want to think about it. Now I've set that parameter for myself. If the SPY curls down like this, I'll get out of my volatility short, right? If volatility turns up like this, if either of those two things happen, I'll get out of my play. But it just looks like an interesting look right now. Nvidia spiked. Yeah, see, Nvidia does not want to give this up yet. Oops, my bad. I need to favorite my stuff. Like, everyone always tells me that. Everyone's like, favorite your stuff, man. What are you doing? Boo. Angel, I'm sorry. Boo. I'm with you on that. Good morning. We're running from Tampa. Pray for us. See you Friday. Hey, Mark, I'm wishing you the best. All right. If you hopefully you're managing your stuff well. I know that's not something that's the most important to you right now, but I'm sure that because you're not getting a lot of funds, help, and anything like that, make sure to manage that money, okay? Just want to keep that in your brain. But we are looking out for you, Mark. Everyone type in the chat, praying for you, Mark, or thinking about you, Mark. Hopefully you are okay, Mark, and your family. Please help us out, guys. Let's spread some positivity. I think we need some positivity. And Yura, thank you for subscribing, by the way, but come on, guys. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all Americans, so we should be supporting each other. And it is very sad that because of an election, half of the country is not willing to help these citizens because they are happening in possibly to areas that are more leaning towards one direction. I do not like that. I think at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We should help each other out. So keep those prayers up, all right? Because I'm in Kansas, I'm lucky to not be going through that stuff. But I do have people that I see in Florida. I used to see them twice a year. My best friend is from Florida. He's married to my other best friend. They happen to be over in Japan, so they're doing okay right now. But he is getting deployed to some areas to do some stuff right now. So really look out for our Floridians, North Carolina, all those kinds of people. We're all Americans. Well, at the same point though, you're part of this community, Laws. And if you're not from America, you're still part of this community. And I hope that you would wish the best for everyone in this community, even if you disagree on something that has nothing to do with just being a fellow human being, right? Something political or something like that. We are still all a part of this community, so I'll consider you an American for today, all right? But yeah, Nvidia, tough one. Okay, very tough one to short. Remember, we talked about this a lot when everyone wanted to short Nvidia back in the past, right? Everyone wanted to short Nvidia over here. And I was like, it's very, very difficult to short. We get the breakout and everyone's taken off guard. So now we're getting a breakout and it seems like everyone wants to short it again. Be careful. Look for a macro signal. You need a macro signal to sell some Nvidia, right? We need a daily turning down. We need a weekly turning down. You have a weekly that looks like it wants to turn up. I would not fight against this, okay? This means we can turn up. Remember when we did this measured move? This measured move going from here all the way down to here. We're gonna take the full measured move to show you guys just how high up this can go. 175. You do not wanna fight against that weekly momentum. Look for a macro signal, and then you can take a longer out play when it comes to Nvidia. It's very difficult to short on the shorter time frames. It's very easy to get calls on the shorter time frames. We can show you examples of that if you'd like, right? We'll show you examples of when it's easy to take plays on Nvidia. I'm going to show you a few of them that we've pointed out. This is the signal that we used back in August because we came outside of a monthly expected move. We made divergences. Great play. Look how close that is to the center line. Boom. Easy play. Over here, we came outside of a monthly expected move in September, and we made a divergence. Boom. Easy play. Then you just have 2-hour swings, 2-hour swings. So it's very difficult to short. It's very easy to buy calls. Spread some Japanese mail. We'll put it on some AMC for you. We're gonna say this for AMC. We'll say this for Mark, okay? If Mark, hopefully you own some of this before we do it, but I don't know where my Japanese mayo is. Where the frick did I put it? Did I take it off of this chart? Okay, there you go. We'll put it on AMC for you. That'll help GME out too. Okay. Key thing with AMC and GME, I'm just gonna say this. It's gonna pop. I don't know when. No, I don't. Next week, 100%. No. Do not quote me on that, guys. This thing has not looked good lately. And I didn't feel it was important to put it in the video. I wanted to make sure our videos will talk about things that are important. If I see AMC with a good signal, I will be bringing it up in the videos. Hey, that's awesome, William. I'm glad to hear that. If we could take, you know, if baby girl was a little bit bigger, I'd probably be down there too, helping out my friends and family, or well, family friends, I guess. Because my best friend's brother just bought a house over the summer in Tampa, like on the freaking water, pretty much. So, he's already out of there. He's been out of there for a little bit. Matthew, we can take a look at, let's go look at this for you. Walgreens, what is this? Walgreens Boots Alliance. Interesting. Cup and handle in this liquidity here is good. Little excited on the upturn, so maybe we're gonna make another little handle now. That would be something very interesting. And what you're gonna notice, maybe there's a little 15-minute thing going on here. Not really the best, very flat. So this could just be a handle again. We're actually doing very, very well, I think, at making handles for this, right? Good. Steep handle, fail, steeper handle. Then we go up to this area, very small one, go up. Now we make another handle to go up to this level. Now we make another one to go up. I actually think this is what you want a stock to be doing. This is what you want a stock to be doing. You want it to be having that flow, having that flow. And if you really look at this too, you had structure within that cup and handle as well to dip down a little lower. So this probably will project you. I'm going to take the closing bars on this 30-minute, just take it from this level. Look at that, it'll get you up to this area. Now you make a handle, everything looks peachy. As long as you don't curl down bigger charts, right? 2-hour curls down, bad things. Yeah, Amazon really gave us a great hint. Are we glad we found this Amazon play? Aren't we glad we found it? Come on, guys. Thumbs up, give a like to the channel, clap, celebrate it if someone took Amazon. There was a moment here where you might have had to manage the trade, right? We saw a good signal right here, and we saw this big drop. But when you see a big drop, you kind of just sit there and go, okay, but this is at that weekly expected move. And we mentioned that too on Pedro. We said this could still react down to that weekly expected move. It did from our rejection zone, our little sell zone. So now it's building back up. Even if you had to manage for a second, just in case that was bad, you're right back in, and now it's starting to produce. So we'll see if that has more upside, but very, very good stuff here. Finally up $2 on my Amazon call. It is taking some time. It is taking some time. But that's, you know, that's why you give yourself some time. That's why you give yourself some time. What you're really looking for here is, does the daily turn up? That's where this thing can really give you some money, right? The daily turns up, you get up to 194, you see a 10-point move from here. That's when you go, all right, now I'm gonna take some contracts off to break even, let the rest ride, or maybe take them off, see if there's like a little 30-minute pullback in here and then head up. So this is a great look. You got to be a little bit careful in our sell zone. Notice the rejection, 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 go up, rejection, rejection. So just be careful in this zone. You still can build that structure to head higher. But as long as this 30-minute remains positive, you're good. If it curls down for a second, it might mean manage for a second, see if it swings back up, right back into play. And then once that happens, you have a good likelihood that daily is going to turn up in just a day or two. So that from that area. Okay, good. Google needs to hold up here. Needs to hold up here. It really, really does. And it's starting to get that wick. That's a decent sign. SPY starting to break above that little trend. Holding there too. That's going to be key. I'm going to leave you guys on here real quick. I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll be right back. Good chance to go look at those courses if you're trying to learn some stuff this week. All right. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to like the channel as I'm going. I'll be back in 2 minutes. And we're back. Did anything explode? Chris says, managed, got good average, waiting on more of a pop for Amazon. Love to hear that, though. Just reading that again. I think people need to understand managing is one of the most important parts of trading. You don't want your stop loss to get fished. So if you're someone who keeps getting stopped out all the time, well, learn how to manage that trade. It'll be fantastic for you. Yes, Fizer up 50% already. Still liking that. I'm hoping that holds throughout the day, but that's great. Look at that breakout too. It's breaking through. See if that can hold, but fantastic look for Fizer. Really good look for Fizer. I might be a little late to it, but I guess not. We just have one curl up here. We can still go up to, I think you test the high here. I think you have the opportunity to do this too. This is something cool that can happen. You see this 30-minute? You really got that good stuff going on there. What I want to do is pull up a 2-hour. And it's not going to look the same as the daily. I hate when that look happens, but you're in an area where you can make that handle. If you can get a little 30-minute retest here, that would be nice. That's when I might make that decision, but I do like that look from it. All quiet on the Western Front. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Thank you for, weirdly enough, I don't know why that triggered my brain. I need to order this book. I really wanted to read it. Oh, I just typed Amazon. I think it was on Amazon. I think it was on sale. Yeah, that's it. Paperback. Hardcover. Why would I get hardcover? It's $10 right now. Oh man, it's gonna take forever. It does. Might just call the bookstore and see if I can go get it there. I don't want to wait a week. Ooh, good price action here from the SPY. Good price action. Liking it a lot. Just see if that 4-hour can cross up. That can extend us a little bit. If you really wanted a measurement for this, by the way, take that. I think it heads up towards that weekly expected move. Now that can take time, right? That doesn't mean it has to happen this week. When you see a measured move like this, don't think, okay, that measured move has to play out right now, all the way up, all the way up. Doesn't have to. So it's still good, even if you think it's going to get to the weekly expected move, it is still good to take some further out expiration, okay? Just in case there is a pullback, just in case it takes time, and then next week we go up to that level or something, right? So I'm not saying it can't happen this week. It's just a good thing to do is not try to YOLO it on some Friday thing, right? Give yourself another week. Give yourself 2 weeks. That's what I like to do. No 30-minute reversals here for volatility. If that can bounce back up. Might draw myself a little trend there on my other charts. Not the best looking trend. IWM, a little late to the party, but IWM I think is the more opportunity, by the way. If I'm late to anything, if I see this 4-hour produce some good bars here, one good 4-hour bar can go a long way. If I'm late to the move by any means, right? Maybe I can go into a 30-minute, see if that's crossing up. Right now it looks like, hey, it might cross down. So just be careful with that. But then you see that cross up, that could be a good thing. If that's not going to cross down, a 4-hour turns up, simple 4-hour swing trade, maybe to a weekly expected move, maybe to next week's weekly expected move. The reason you want to pay attention to this is because of the structure, right? This is a key level. We're reacting up towards that level, right? Pretty good with the closes here. And then we're getting a big handle here for this 4-hour to maybe see a big move. So I think IWM has more of a, if I'm late to the party on anything and I see a 4-hour cross up and the SPY's like, I'm already going towards a weekly expected move. I think this one here is the sleeping giant. Look at some other stuff. Okay, Apple is at a key level right now. Apple on the 30-minute. At a key level. Okay, so what this area is a chance to consolidate before breaking out, right? This area here makes sense. I think a good thing for Apple would be to go retest something like that 225.84 or even dip back into our zone for a brief moment, right? Try to really use all this liquidity to go actually higher, use that liquidity grab to head higher. I think that would be good for something like Apple. And just so you're aware, volatility, still paying attention if that wants to curl up. It's not gone. It's not dropping dramatically. PCC starting to go up 2.8, so little breakout. Oh, fan just asked about Apple. Good. Yeah, I just clicked over on it. Shorting to 571. Yeah, I think if you're gonna go below this 572.50 area, somewhere in here might be more what you're looking for. But you're right. You can pull down pretty good there. We'll see. But it's kind of like, hey, we've already done this. So are we really going to go like that again now? We've already seen that break out. We got to see if these 4 hours are turning up. That's the thing. And the Qs have already done it, right? The Qs are doing it. So if that's still got 3 hours to post, but that is the sign that you want. That's a good sign. For the Qs, on the 30-minute, you could be making a handle here. You've made the handle here, which I actually really like that you made this steep handle and then you curled back up. That's great. But for now, you want to say, okay, I have to be open to this curling down to create more of a handle again, which is good. This is what you want to see. You want to see that battle between the bulls and the bears that causes these little swings down, and then the bulls just have more of that bullishness come in. That's what you kind of want, I think. You really like it? I'm glad that you switched to it. Yeah, I'm glad you, I mean, I've really enjoyed TradingView. I'm sure some people don't, but I've really enjoyed TradingView for a long time now. Nvidia is a crazy stock. It's very difficult to short this guy. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I would more so be looking for macro signals to take a very longer out position. That's what I'm saying. Because if this is going to be bearish, right? If this is going to be bearish, then how the hell are the Qs curling up on a 4 hour? You know what I mean? Now, if this changes and this starts to curl back down and all that, we've seen very bad things above 492, right? We talked about this level, resistance above that level, resistance above that level, right? We do not remain above 492 for 492.28 for very long. But if we can create some little bit of structure before doing that, you might be able to see a move towards that weekly expected move. Good pullback for oil. Oil, you got to keep your eye on. Trying to make 30-minute divergence. We don't like to pay too much attention to that. If we're doing that, we're going to do USO. So is this going to turn up? Maybe USO does have something to say for us. Let's go check on that real quick. Ooh, not really. But USO doing a good thing. Testing the breakout area, right? This originally was more your breakdown area, and now it's becoming your breakout area, and you're retesting it. Right? So that's what I think is going on here. But you don't necessarily have a 30-minute divergence or anything like that. So just be careful with it. But this could be a lower high. But this is kind of what you're looking for that next swing higher. We'll see. I still like that that level of 80.52. And Palantir is up at that weekly expected move now. Got rid of the divergence. Very key to understand that. So any pullback you get here will be just that. Most likely be a pullback that ends up going higher later on. Okay, you're still very high up on the MACD. You just have this flatness across. You do not have it on the RSI at the same time. So that would lead to a pullback. That's more the look I'm looking for maybe by Friday. Dollar's elevated, so I'm looking for those signals that say, hey, there's weakness here, and we're going to see that rush to the dollar actually produce something in the market, which is some selling, because I think there's insider selling happening right now at an unprecedented rate. Let me go see here real quick. Apple trying to break through. Not going to consolidate. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla looking pretty good there. Curled down, curled right back up. Very, very cool. Did the 2-hour cross? It did. All right, 2 hours crossing for Tesla. If that is going to confirm, right? If that's going to confirm in about 54 minutes, you would say Tesla has a good likelihood to at least go make a lower high. I think a lower high area would be up towards this gap fill at 258. If that's going to be more positive than that, that's fine. I can go up. I could maybe take profit at that gap fill. If it goes higher, I look for that handle, and then I have the next trade setup, right? We're always just looking for the next trade setup. We don't want to think things can continue to go higher forever. But if you are someone who just wants to manage your trade and you do not feel like taking profit at a certain level, that is your decision. I totally understand. Apple getting a little overexcited now, in my opinion. You go look at Apple, just a little bit excited. Just a little bit. You see it getting above these levels here. I think you really want to see that pull down. But if that's just bigger time frames taking over, right? 2 hour here crossed up, just saying, hey, swing this bad boy. We're going higher. So a level like this will prove to be a little bit worrisome. See if there's some resistance there, right? The gap area, gap resistance could start there, 229.63. But as far as it goes, you can head all the way up to here by the end of the week and it would make sense. See what's going on out there. Anybody catch that Satoshi documentary? This is the funniest tweet I've ever seen. Can't believe in my lifetime I would actually see the United States of America infiltrated and from within, and then having had an attempt to overthrow our government and nothing gets done about it. Like, you realize, like, the Constitution is there and it says to overthrow your government if they're making the people in a shitty, like if it's becoming tyrannical or putting the people into shitty situations. It's like, that's the whole point of the Constitution. I don't think they were trying to overthrow anything yet. We'll see what happens with that. Crazy times. But I guess it is something you can't believe, like it's happening in your lifetime, I guess. But all right, seeing a little bit of fade here from the Dow, not able to confirm up on the 2-hour chart, but this looks like great consolidation. I want to be clear about that, so pay attention if it does curl up. It's kind of like IWM. It's a little late to the party. If that just can cross up, get above this high here, DIA, let's get the level for that. You cross above this high here. These levels are just something I marked off. Nothing too important there, but if this can cross up, that would mean test those highs, maybe go make a new one. I think now we're looking for macro signals, right? The 2 hours aren't looking too good, so I think a 4 hours is what I want to see. If I see weakness in that move, that's where I'll pay attention. We do give the weekly expected moves for DIA now, just so you are aware. We've been posting a lot of trade setups. One of those was volatility. One of those was Amazon. Still got to manage the trade on some of these bad boys, but for the most part, everything's looking peachy right now. For the time being, got to make sure to manage. Is it a negative or positive divergence for LMT? Let's go take a look at that real quick. Be careful. This is pulling back with time. How's the 2 hour rotated? Yeah, you could still just be pulling back with time, but you're right in thinking, hey, if this daily does cross down, that's not a good thing, right? We can go retest something like 582. That's kind of a good move. But yeah, that's a big divergence. You got to pay attention if that daily's rotating down. But you do have that extension that could happen up towards the top Bollinger if this 2 hour turns up. You notice that that's just pulling back with time. Right? This is coming down while the stock is, ever since this level, still relatively flat, if not a little down. I know we made this little move higher. And now at this point, you would say, oh, 30-minute gave me that divergence. That's going to keep consolidating. But if we don't break this low, we don't go into negative territory. I just look, if the 2 hour rotates up, one more little move like this, then we'll see what happens. Let me see if there's a triangle forming here in some way on the daily scale. What a move. No, I wouldn't say that's the best thing to form any kind of patterns or any kind of triangles. Well, so that's something that's been strange, Stumble Pro. That's something that's been strange. We've actually seen oil and the SPY actually go in tandem for a little bit, right? We go look at oil, which doesn't necessarily happen too often, right? We've seen this big uproar from, what was that, September 27th all the way to October 7th. And I'll just click on this because it's right here. But September, oh, wait, no, I was wrong on that. Oh God, what was I looking at yesterday? I had this down. I literally like came to the channel today, like I've been looking at oil and figuring it out. I looked at too much stuff. That's what it is. I looked at way too much stuff. Well, I got to keep things more simple. I looked at way too much stuff this morning and last night. I'm annoyed with myself because of that. I want to be helpful. I'm sorry, guys. Oh yeah, inflation for sure. That's why I'm kind of interested to see the FOMC, but since they already cut rates, they can't really go back. If they go back, it's going to really piss people off. I literally studied the correlation of oil and the SPY last night. And I was like, I think I even mentioned it maybe today, but I studied it last night to talk about it. And I'm just blanking on it right now, so I'll have to look at it again. I just won't comment on it. If there's nothing good to say, then don't say it at all. That's what my grandma says. Dollar's still heading higher while the market heads higher. But we're getting some good breakout here. Got to cross above those high. Reinvestigate oil, please. We'll wait. Here, I'll do it over here. See if I can find it. Because it was more this line chart that I was looking at. Let me just look. I can figure this shit out real quick. Scale. Put that side by side, just like we do. That was it. Okay, that was it. Okay, I think I got it. I think my brain clicked. It wasn't this point. It wasn't this point. It was this point down here. So ever since pretty much these type of levels, we've actually been correlated relatively well with oil. So I can put it side by side for you real quick. Put this on a daily. Let's put this on a daily. Zoom out for a sec. Now I know that oil's not hitting the new high, but relatively correlated. So if you look here, oil and the market heading down at the same time, right? During this bounce here, now you see that difference where oil saw the bounce and then headed to a lower level at the same time. Then we bounced again with oil. You notice that we bounced again with oil for a moment, and then it turned back down. And what happened shortly after? Well, oil and the market headed down at the same time here. And then from that low, we've actually seen oil head up while the market has headed up, right? So we're seeing those times, which now oil is turning down. So if we're going to continue that, then that means that SPY could catch up to oil if we're going to keep this correlation. It's weird, but we are slightly correlated to oil right now for the SPY. We have moments where we see that correlation get rid of, but then we catch back up. Does that make sense? So it's like we're correlated for periods of time, and then the negative correlation kicks in for a moment, and then we're back to correlated. It's just the SPY is still holding up better. Yes, Pablo, they are. They are kind of saying that. Now, the PCC not at a extremely low level, so we could still see this trap take place. And a lot of the time, you know, we're going into that Friday expiration. We have a lot of puts out there in the market. So I want to pay attention because this isn't the lowest reading for the PCC that we can see at this moment. So what I would overall be doing is just say, hey, if this curls down, then I can treat it as bad. I have some of that rig behavior. And if it curls back up, okay, bullishness. But right now we have to see if that 4-hour curls up. That's a bigger time frame. Yeah, I'm not necessarily liking this look though by any means anymore. I don't think that this is the strength I want. You see why I wanted it to pull down for a brief moment, because that can launch you. This is just trickle, trickle, trickle. I don't like that. I don't like the trickle, trickle, trickle. I would rather us have done this and then done that. Then that trap can take place a little bit longer. The only problem with calling it a trap right now is you don't necessarily have volatility wanting to turn up. You have a 2-hour signal saying, hey, we could squeeze. You have a lot of people positioned for Friday for downside. And if that's retail, then they don't want to shoot this thing down. Dow is saying, hey, I'm crossing up on a 2-hour. So let's just follow the signals for the most part. And we would say if the SPY can cross up above this, it's a good sign. If the 4-hour crosses up, most likely we do reach up towards that weekly expected move. But if things curl down, I'm ready to react. That's how I'm going to play, at least listening into it. That's why I'm building, right? I'm shorting volatility, but I'm building that short position on something like AMD. And Palantir, I'm going to look into that too. Because if that crosses, I'm probably getting out of my volatility position. So it's kind of like this for oil. Oil falls first. We go negatively correlated, right? We're correlated. Then oil falls. Market goes a little higher. And then it catches up. So if we're going to catch up to oil again here, that would be something to look at. But if oil turns back around, we can just remain bullish, I think. Always glad to hear what you're saying. Hey, that's awesome, Lurkin Luke. I'm glad that that played out for you, and it's smart to play as you're outside of that and you're noticing it's very bullish, not the best reversal signal, but one that you can take a little play on. Good little play, almost like a scalp. Scalp down to the top side, expected move. Not bad. I dig it. Four-hour crossed. See, the thing here is the Qs are doing it. They're crossing. It depends. Pretty much, it's like the market is its own thing, is kind of how you want to think about it. Because what you're thinking of here is how can that affect the economy, right? But the market's its own thing. So if I see a swing for like a 4-hour, like we're seeing for the Qs right here, if that confirms, then I have to say the market is its own thing. If I see a reversal, even if the economy suffers greatly, But if the reversal signal shows up and the economy's already suffered greatly, then the market might catch up to that kind of thing. So that's how I want to more think about it, not necessarily thinking like they have to be correlated, because the economy and the market are never correlated. You can suffer and suffer and suffer at the grocery store and the market goes higher, right? It's not necessarily correlated. You can have less and less and less money in your bank account while the rich people are getting more and more money in the market. It's when that catches up. It's when something actually breaks that affects the market, like housing market. Once people actually cannot purchase stuff is when you more so see it. Like that's why everyone always says you're already in a recession before the market says you're in a recession, before anyone in the government will tell you you're in a recession. That's why back in the day they got rid of the whole 2 points of GDP, negative GDP, right? They got rid of that because it made them look bad. They were like, no, we're not in recession. We're redefining it. You want to be careful when people redefine things. But yeah, they're two separate things. That's why we pay attention to signals, because more if you think the economy's bad or we're seeing bad things in the economy, that can convince you like, hey, the market has to go down, and you'll realize, oh, they actually pretty much don't correlate like at all until they greatly correlate and you see a crash. That's why people are looking for a crash these days. It's justified in my opinion. Yeah, they're completely two separate things. What was this? Where was... like 2022, even these areas, we were like, oh, inflation's getting really bad. We need to react to inflation. We're going to raise the rates. We still go higher. The economy's already priced, like saying we have inflation. But notice the market took more time. The market took more time. It just curled up on a daily here, took more time. Then it catches up. Which you actually started to experience inflation way down here. That's good. Yeah, make sure you're managing risk, and it's fine. As long as you're managing risk, you should be just fine. Let me pull this up for a second here. Spread on that, not very good. Oh, this might be a weekend trap if we go higher. Interested to see what Jerome Powell says. SPY hit 574.66. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can cross through. Cross through that high. Trade like water. Good statement. I like that statement, Jeremiah. I mean, it's my coined phrase, you know. We still got to make hoodies or something. What time is Powell speaking? I believe it's 1 p.m. my time, so that would just be whatever your time of the close is. I think it's 2 hours before. I'll double check for you. Yeah, 1 p.m. my time. So if you need to think about that based on where you're at, just think 2 hours before the close. The close for me is 3 o'clock. So 1 o'clock would be my time. So I just subtract 2 hours. Then tomorrow, inflation straight away in the morning. And that all is supposed to tick down according to the consensus, which hurricanes can cause inflation for sure, but maybe that doesn't hit the numbers until next month. CPI rarely causes a stock market crash or causes a bear market to start, or even a more significant pullback. Seriously. Like CPI can cause like maybe a 5% little correction or something like that, but you rarely will see CPI cause like a 10% to 15% move down. We shall see, we shall see. That's what I need to do. I need to keep this up. Let's just get tight with it. Yeah, so as you're breaking out, the bullish way to head higher is actually getting to that daily expected move, pulling down. And then maybe we cross up with some CPI. If we just can kind of remain here, we just got to pay attention if that rolls with that news from FOMC. I really would like us to see get us to go like, where's 1 o'clock right here? Get us up to that level by right here. That would be nice. Pull down, then pull back up. Retest that breakout. But you see the dollar, one thing about the dollar is you do have some divergence here for the 2-hour forming. We'll see if that can turn down. Right? It means the dollar can hold at elevated levels, but maybe people buy into some assets for a period of time and cause this to pull down. We'll see. It's a fun market, actually, I think. Volatility still pointing directly down for this 2-hour as of right now, pretty much pointing down with that reading. Watch out for the retest, watch out for the gap fill. Dow curling up on the 2-hour, so there's your sleeping giant there. And then we want to see for IWM, that's already curled up. We want to see if that curls up on a 4. I think this is a good opportunity for some bullishness for a few days. Maybe even a full week, who knows? Let me look at what data comes out next week. Next week, retail sales towards the end of the week. Not a lot of data next week, so whichever direction we actually choose here can last for a little bit of time unless something black swan-like happens. Get some jobless. Do we get jobless claims anytime throughout this? Initial jobless claims and retail sales month over month come out October 17th. One of those readings. Then we get some gas and stuff like that, and oil on the 17th as well. So the 17th could be an important date next Thursday. Still pointing down, still pointing up. No reasons to manage just yet. One thing to note would be if Jerome Powell causes extreme bullishness and we have all these type of things going on, that would be a little bit worrisome. Good stuff though, not bad. Let's see what else we got. People talking about Nvidia. Not a ton going on there. Walmart? What's Walmart doing? Oh, there we go. I'd be a little careful, you know, doing some short here. Yes, you have the reversal signals here, a lot of divergence points, but it does not mean you cannot go make that next point. You notice here, we never took out this low. Right, we never took out this low. Now, good rejection, good rejection, good rejection. We're hitting that breakdown area. If you look at a 30-minute, you're going, okay, that's a breakdown area, right? That's a breakdown area, but we're taking it back. That's going to be a big thing. 2-hour is curling up. If the 2-hour curls up, you can see positivity again. All right, 2-hour curls up, you can take out this, you can take out this, right? 2-hour curls up like this. What I'd be looking for here is, yes, these signals are bad, but what if the timing is just a little bit off, right? What if this goes boop? That's why I'm saying the weekend something is what I'm paying attention to right now. We get data over the next few days, and I just want you to notice the last few data drops have been relatively good for the market. Right, we're at all-time high again, so no data really had us suffer too much. Good move, good move. People are still, though, it's definitely there. People are still trying to short this thing for sure. All right, that should be enough. Yeah, that's enough to do it. Let's see if that can post in a couple of hours. Oh, I think he'll be dovish. I think he'll be dovish again, yeah. He will continue to lie to you the entire time. And anyone that thinks he hasn't lied the entire time, just remember that all of this is transitory. Just remember that we're going to have a soft landing. And now a lot of economists are like, yeah, a soft landing is like a 0.01% chance. Yeah, and I think it could leak into the election. I think you see a little bit of a downturn before the election, at least a pullback. Then maybe we see this kind of go up and down for a little bit, and then we'll see. I'm more wondering how people react based on who kind of gets the dub. Hopefully everyone out there is registered to vote. Black Swan event, this is ridiculous. I think you have an opportunity for that. One thing is this, something I've been thinking about, and I know this is fishy to talk about, but for the most part, if one side knew they were going to lose an election at some point, because I have seen data that's pointing towards like a for sure loss here, if one side is doing that, would they do something to disrupt, right? Would they do something to disrupt? And that's why people, I think, are talking about manufactured storms and things like that. I think people have that belief that that might be taking place, but that's just one thing I'm thinking about. I'm like, would they really do just their like some kind of thing, like really escalate things overseas? What would they do if it got really close to election? They were like, there's no shot. I don't know. I'm ready to react. Amazon popped. There you go. A little bit more price action there for Amazon. See, the 4 hour is saying, hey, yeah, we have a chance. But I just keep my eye on a 2 hour. Well, it's not that. There's real data that shows. There's one piece of data in particular that gets it right a lot of the time, and it says no one has ever won an election who is sitting in the administration when they have lower than a 35% reading in the thought between the polls that say people are happy in the direction the economy or the country is going. Right now, Kamala's at 28%. Once you hit 25%, if she hits a 25% rating on that, it's impossible to win the election, apparently. So she's at 28. So that's why I was saying I think it would have been great for her campaign to react to the hurricane a little bit better. Like really just double down, not do those interviews, get together with Biden, really work on it, get the money going forward, really help out the people. They did she did the opposite. And I know she's trying to help by talking to DeSantis, but all it is at this point is a distraction. If she wants to work with anyone, she should be side by side with Biden. I think there's some malice there. I don't think those two are really like friends right now. But that is a real statistic. You can go look at that. It is a real one. So like to put it in perspective, if you're over, I think 35%, people are okay with the direction of the country going, is over 35%, you have a good likelihood to win. If you have 39%, then you pretty much win. She's at 28. I mean, she's closer to for sure losing than closer to for sure winning, which is a problem. And that's just a stat. I'm just bringing it up. That's just it. So we're just talking about who's going to win because we need to react, probably see the reaction of the market from that. You know what I mean? Well, the reason I wouldn't talk about the unrealized gains tax right now is just because right now that was such a bad reaction that they're saying they're not even going to do it. So I don't think you can find the best information about that. Do I think Trump is bullish for a market? That's a very good question, and kind of no. I don't think either one. I actually think Kamala would be more bullish for the market than Trump, actually, because if she comes in and continues to do what they're doing, pump money, pump money, pump money, save everything, spend money, assets get elevated. So that means market go up, right? But if Trump gets in, he's already talked about taking care of the short seller problem alone, right? He's already talked about that months and months ago, that he wants to take care of market behavior like that. If he just does that, the market's going to suffer, right? If he gets these bubbles under control, that means that he has to pop the bubbles. And that's kind of why I think actually Trump would come. I think it's better for individual people who don't care too much about the stock market. I think it will be some pain for a short period of time. But the way I've discussed it with my friends when they ask about the market is, I say, more the economy, how you function in your everyday life is, if Kamala gets in, it's a slow bleed out for years and years. Inflation starts to hurt you more and more and more to where you can just barely live. And you're already at some of those points for a lot of people. And then if Trump would win, I think you're more along the lines of an extreme amount of pain for a few years, but then you can come back from it. That's how I see it. I'm not into politics as much as a lot of other people. That's just how I see it. That's just my opinion, and that's not me talking negatively about either one. You vote for whoever you want. Great move from the SPY. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. I'm like, okay, this is going up. Amazon's making a good move. That's all I care about, genuinely. And then I'll react to bad signals. FEMA's nowhere to be found. They have no money. They did give it to illegal immigrants. Anyone that tells you different is not reading their website. Yeah, Max Effort, and that's why I'm really looking at this, right? That's why we're talking about it. That's why yesterday's video was that. And I think a lot of people were unhappy to see that on my video, but the thing is, we said 2 days ago, crash signals are there. You gotta save it in the next 3 days. We saved it. You know what I mean? We saved it, so you automatically have to go, okay, now volatility has this signal. That's a short squeeze signal. If we can cross down a daily, that's really confirming, and that can last for a little bit. Yeah, we can check on Palantir real quick. Whoa, seeing something crazy. Seeing something crazy. That's why we got to wait for confirmations. Look at this, never confirmed, right? So I'm not in Palantir. I was waiting for this 30-minute signal to confirm. It didn't. I'm not in Palantir. Right? I gotta wait for confirmations. Why am I in AMD? Well, I have a confirmation. I have rejection divergences, right? These all make sense. If that 2 hour can confirm in a couple of hours, that'd be bad. So I still have to look at this and say, if the 30-minute turns up, I'm gonna manage a trade, right? Yeah, William, and I think that's the right way to think about it. People forget it's a game of probability. Totally biased. I just said if either candidate gets in, you're going to go through some pain. I don't know how that's biased. If that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about market, I don't see how it's biased when I said, hey, bad signals 2 days ago, we have to get rid of the signals. We get rid of them, I flipped. That's the opposite of bias. That's me objectively looking at the signals and saying, we saved it, now we can go up for a little bit of time. I think you need to look up a definition there, buddy. Good try. You tried your best. Good try. Like both categories of what we just talked about, I was super objective. Well, it looks like we're going to gravitate maybe towards a daily expected move now. We're close enough to really get sucked up towards that area. Look for maybe some consolidation. A few more hours until Jerome Powell talks. That's on Target. Let's go look at Target. I really like the fact that people are pointing out Target, Walmart, and things like that. As of right now, if this did curl down on a 30-minute, weirdly enough, this was further up than this. This is not divergence, right? That's a lower high. So what you might be going through here is like, you know, tight, trying to get tight. So what I'd look for is if this curls down, treat it as bad. That's what I would do. Treat it as bad. If it curls back up, okay, right back to good. Because I think you're seeing maybe us try to get these smaller swings, right? And then we're going to get a big move. That's what I think from Target. Let me look at a bigger time frame just to see the 2 hour, because that might be curling. Okay, so 2 hour, again, that's not really divergence. That's trying to get a lower high. You're still pretty deep into negative territory. So that 30-minute rotates down. You got to say that's not the best look. Maybe an hourly would actually clear it up. Nope, an hourly doesn't really clear it up either. This would lean towards, hey, we can see this flip to a positive trend. That's what this higher low, sorry, I think I said lower high. Higher low would lean towards. But if that's going to roll over on a 30-minute, you have to be like, okay, now it's looking like, okay, this is not very good, and this could easily break that low. We're going negative, right? We went down. Here's your breakdown area. What did we do? Well, we consolidate, break down further, react up towards it, reject. So are we building? Are we going to cross down for a moment, then turn back up? That's something to look out for. 2 hour was there. Is the daily by the center line? That's going to be a big deal as well. You got a little bit of a lower high. You're below the 200. So I would just say this. 30-minute turns down. Treat that as bad. Has that turned down yet? No. Okay, so you just want to be ready to react, but this could be consolidation to actually head higher. So we'll see. But for the most part, I just want to say 30-minute turns down, that's really close to the center line, so bad price action can happen. If it holds up and you're just getting tight in some way, right, you're seeing a big, big, medium, small, 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 then you want to see what's happening there. So might mean take your time on this one a little bit. I don't think the signals are like the best thing in the world. You probably were trying to make a double bottom here is what it seems like. So as long as this remains positive, expect positivity. But if it turns down, treat it like it's bad. But if it's able to not break this low, turn back around, then maybe this was all consolidation. Oh yeah, Pal's I actually don't think Pal is speaking today. Let me go double check. You're right. That's my bad. Thanks for calling me out. I'm an idiot sometimes. Yeah, FOMC minutes. Usually he talks after the minutes. That's interesting. At least in the past few months, he's been talking with the FOMC minutes. Or like the day after or something like that. So yeah, I got that wrong. My bad. Let me double check their website. How many times can I mistype? Oh, one more time. That's how many times. Today is the 9th. Yeah, it doesn't have them talking. So yeah, they're just going to release the minutes, it seems. Sorry about that. I just got people pumped up for a talk for no reason. Hopefully I didn't put my title, Jerome Powell Live. So I got everyone excited, like, Jerome Powell's talking today. And I was just blatantly wasn't thinking. DJT, a lot of people talking about this, still seeing that upside. I want to be aware there's some pullback signals for at least a 30-minute pullback. That is kind of a thing that you want as you're breaking out, right? We break through a zone. You still want to touch in the top fit. We didn't really get there, so that is possible to do this. Just notice the 30-minute is extremely positive. You have daily momentum with you, so if that does curl down, look for that to curl up at any time. Retesting a zone before heading higher is a good thing. It is a good thing. Let's look at this on the daily scale. That thing's looking pretty cool. Let's see if the weekly scale is starting to do anything here. Yeah, weekly scale turns up. That's when you really want to pay attention. Weekly scale turns up. That's when you really want to start looking for stuff. But I think you are in an area and you have a signal here that says, hey, we're trying to break through. We'll see. But something healthy it could do is turn down, use this zone as support now, right? You break through the resistance, take away the sellers, turn them into buyers by dipping into that zone, curling down on this MACD and curling back up. Amazon, is it breaking out? Still at that 0.85, still waiting for that full extension. The breakout's going to be above 186.50 area. And you still got to get through this entire zone. But for the most part, you're looking okay here. 2 hours good. Looking for when that 2 hour goes up a little more, the daily scale able to turn up if that's going to be really bullish. But the 2 hours turned up, good sign that you're going to see at least a move towards maybe something like 186.50. Then you got to see, is that going to build structure there, or are we just going to like gap above there to go higher? Just got to be aware of the positioning of the MACD. Very, very low. So lower high is probable, right? A lower high is probable. Maybe some kind of move like this to the top of this zone and you just fade that thing, right? Because this is your breakdown area too, if you really pay attention. That looks like a breakdown area to me as well. So you pretty much got like here, here, and here. And so this area is going to be pretty important. Pretty much everyone but Powell. Yeah, that's what it, that's. I was like looking through the schedule and I was like, Jesus. It's like, watch live, watch live, watch live, but none of them were Jerome Powell. AMD not crossing over yet. Not just yet. Let me go look at some stuff real quick. About 2 hours. 2 hours till we will see if this signal is confirming. And just so you guys know, you guys want to know something fun. On my charts that I like to trade with, I do not use daily expected moves on those charts. I just want to see if that 4 hours turning up. And if it does, awesome. Now, we could be in that time where you see a wick or something. I still think a 30-minute pullback would be good to retest this breakout area. Great new all-time high, right? Isn't that a new all-time high? Yeah. Or that'd be a cool look. 1018. Let me check my phone real quick. I might have to hop off. Let me just see real quick. Yeah, guys, unfortunately, I do have to hop off for now. What I'll do is if things start to get crazy, like if we start to see some kind of rug pull, because we do have the dollar at elevated levels, just that PCC sitting right in the middle. So just note that this is a great signal if the 4 hour does cross up into positive territory. I do have to hop off right now, but if something crazy does happen, I will join back on the live stream. If not, if I don't see anything that's like a great signal or something like that, then I'll most likely just be making a YouTube video tonight to discuss what's going on with some more price action throughout the day and after we get the FOMC minutes. The other thing was, oh yeah, the Patreon. We've been posting some setups there. That's where the Amazon play, that's where the volatility play was. So if you guys want to join the Patreon, down in the links in the description, you can get those weekly ranges, and we will be giving out the daily ranges tomorrow night for Friday close. Okay, so the daily ranges for every stock that we do cover in our YouTube videos and some more, you know, gold, DIA, and things like that. We will have those daily moves. If you would like to join the Patreon, that link is down there. Obviously, there's the links for the courses, but I really do appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you guys for shouting out Mark and giving you guys your thoughts and prayers. I think that's awesome. But for the most part, I just hope everyone is safe out there. I hope you guys are trading like water, making sure to pay attention to the signals and just pay attention to the signals, right? Don't think that because the economy's bad, we have to see bad price action. Just make sure the signals are confirming it, and then you will see that bad price action, right? So trade like water, manage your risk. You'll be just fine. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll be hopping off, but I'll see you guys later. Peace. Google, just real quick, because someone did bring up Google right at the end here. Google, watch if the daily scale turns over, that's going to mean more. If that curls down, that's going to mean more. Right now, testing the 200, that's fine, because you're still creating the structure, right? You're still creating this line here, left, head, right shoulder. So what I'd be looking for is like a 4-hour, a 2-hour turn up. 2-hour can turn up, you can break through this high, looks okay. Daily crosses down with some more weakness, right? Daily crosses down, not going to be a good look. One of the rules on this channel that I like to say, whenever something has a first cross down on a daily MACD, no matter where it is, especially though if it looks like it can go negative, right? It can go negative. I don't necessarily take calls, right? I don't take calls on a stock, even if there's a great signal here. I'm not willing because daily momentum is stronger. So if that does cross, be cautious of downside. You are close to negative territory, but for now you might be creating some structure to head higher. So we'll see if that 2-hour can turn back up. Sorry about that. I just wanted to say that because I know Google is falling pretty quickly there. So thank you guys again. Thank you for your questions. I hope you guys have a great day. I do have to hop off. All right, guys, peace out.